In what seems like an awful coincidence, hours before the bridge collapse in Minneapolis, you introduced the National Infrastructure Bank Act. How exactly would you finance
I'm clairvoyant.
Yeah.
That's what we thought.
It's another asset I bring to this candidacy.
Did you hold that press conference with Senator Hagel in the morning then?
Yeah. And it was, it's been a year and a half working at this bill with CSI, the Center for Strategic International Studies, and John Hamry, who I have a high regard for, as Assistant Secretary of Defense under Clinton, and Felix Rowan, who's been a great friend over the years, who's back writing a book on public works and how the difference they've made throughout history. And I wish I'd thought of that idea. And then Warren Rudman and Bob Kerrey and Hagel and I were all part of this effort over the last year and a half. We all knew about the problem. I mean, we all knew what numbers we were. The question is, how do you do this? How do you finance this? And that's really what's taken us so much time. So it's not a study, contrary to Senator Biden, I'd say. It was a real effort to think, because you're not going to do this out of the Appropriations Committee. It just can't be done. And it can't just be done with municipal bonds, in a sense. It's going to take something more. And so that was the effort. And we were talking about when to announce it and release it. And I said, why don't we, this is so crowded, so many things are going on the last week before the August break, why don't we wait until September? We've been at this a year and a half, we can wait a little longer. And to his credit, Chuck Hagel said, no, let's do it now, and we got other things. You're going to be gone, you're going to be running on New Hampshire and Iowa and places, and hard to find the time. So at 10 o'clock last Wednesday morning, Wednesday, we held a press conference at the Senate Press Gallery to announce this effort. I think we had 4 reporters in the room that showed up for this discussion. And of course, by 6 o'clock at night, we're on almost every TV station in the country. And had we waited until September, people would have said, pandering again. You know, these guys responding to a situation. So Hagel was right to get it out, and it is. I mean, it's it's a big idea, and I think I'm so tired of small bore politics, and this is one that is absolutely. I mean, I love to ask the trivia question: how old people think the average age of our water treatment facilities are in the United States, and the average age is 100. And you start talking about a collapse. I mean, it's just stunning that people are still debating whether or not this has any legitimacy. The condition of bridges and the human infrastructure, what's happening with airports, and so with all of this going on. And the cost of it is staggering. And so the idea of attracting, and this gets controversial, but the idea we have these massive pools of wealth that are being accumulated, and a lot of it's going offshore. I mean, I read the other day someone has actually bought a road in Turkey as part of one of these hedge funds or venture capitalist ideas. And look, if people are finding those are attractive investments, how can we make it attractive for people to invest here? I'm not crazy about, obviously, sharing and privatizing a lot of these public projects and so forth, and I don't think you have to do a lot of that. But that's a great source of wealth, and with some government support and backing and so forth, I think we can attract a lot of that tremendous capital into these efforts around the country, and which are going to be critical. Otherwise, I don't know how we do it. And for every billion you invest, it's 40,000 jobs on average. So it's a great employment engine as well as critical for your economic growth and expansion. And so that was the idea behind it. And we'll be working more at it now that people have, the other night when we had about first four questions over infrastructure, it wasn't because Keith Olbermann thought it was a great subject matter. It's obviously what had happened. I don't think that would have been the subject had Minneapolis not occurred. So it was purely fortuitous that we announced it when we did.